All right. Welcome to another episode of Levi in the Closet. Thank you guys for checking out the videos. Before I get into the video, I'm going to plug myself a little bit here. Like this video and leave a comment if you're feeling a bit saucy today. And also subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content that I'm putting out. And also follow Levi Acid on Instagram. You can just see what I'm up to. And you can also leave me a message there on Instagram if you have any questions or topics that you want me to that you want to see me speak on in my future videos. You just hit me up on Instagram at Levi Acid, and I'll make a video off the topics you send me. So, all right, getting into my video. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, at the beginning of each one, I like to show an item out of my closet. Today's item, this is the Travis Scott, I think it was like Bird's Eye View tour or something like that. He came to Portland and I went there. It was really cool. We got nosebleed seats because I'd spent so much money on concerts, like being right up front and everything. It was just kind of getting like repetitive and like you jump around and it's fun. But then I was like, all right, Travis Scott. I'm not a huge Travis Scott fan. I do like some of his songs. I think he's a really talented artist, but I just thought, oh, hey, he's coming to Portland, so why not pay for these tickets? Got him for a pretty good deal. And I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I collect concert t-shirts. So every concert I go to, I get a t-shirt. This one, he brought Drake out because they did Portland. And so he brought Drake out. And of course, you know, because Drake said that Portland was like his favorite city or something like that. So he brought him out and he's like jumping around, and you know, maybe that would have been worth it to pay for the floor seats at that time, but like, you know, ups and downs, money comes and goes. I digress. But anyway, let's see, we're on the back. Man, now I'm looking for it, I can't find it. Weird. Yeah, maybe I'm just totally tripping, but it's not even on the back here, whereas Portland, Oregon, I don't see it on here. Huh. But anyway, I digress. Getting into the topic of today's video. Tying it into my item of the day. My girlfriend, my ex, I should say, from a long time ago, my long-term girlfriend, she loved that shirt and she would wear it all the time. And it's really faded and yellowed, and she would wear it to bed every night. And like, she loved that shirt and she kept it. And I was the one that bought it because, you know, I collect these concert shirts. And I let her keep it and hold on to it, I guess. And so, you know, we broke up, and then finally I asked for it back. Like, got the courage up to just say like, hey, I want my shirt back, you know. And she was like, oh, well, all you got to do is ask for it. I was wondering when you were gonna. And I was like, oh, dang. Because I think she knew that I wanted it back, but I just really hadn't said anything about it. Now I realize, like, okay, you have to kind of put your foot down, like, just be direct, and if you want something, just say it. You know, and that ties into my topic of today's video, is how you need to check your girl. Because I think that's really important. Make sure you check your girl if you're in any kind of relationship, like, whether it's, you know, like short term, like kind of friends with benefits type situation, or whether you're in a dedicated long-term relationship, anything in between that, or like, you know, anywhere in between, you got to check the girl that you're with. And this is really important if you want to be, you know, the one in charge. You're the dominant, you're the male. You need to find this in yourself. You need to understand that this is how an adult acts too. It's not just being an alpha. This is just how an adult responds to certain situations. And so being the best man you can be, you know, because this channel isn't just about, you know, being an alpha and a red pill. I do like a lot of those ideas, and I watch a lot of videos kind of in that subject, but this is more about just becoming the best person that you can be, being the best man that you can be. But I digress. So I think it's important in the relationship, whatever, you know, whatever point you're at, you know, whether you've been together for just a couple weeks, whether it's been, you know, months or a year or whatever it is, sometimes, and I've heard this said differently, like a girl will test you, or, you know, something in that kind of, in that kind of words, like a girl will test you. But I don't think it's always intentional. It's just like she'll do something and then it's your turn to react to it. And then she's going to either respect you more for this, or she's either going to not respect you, disrespect you. She will disrespect you, but she won't respect you as much as she did before. That's what I'm trying to say. She won't respect you as much. So she'll either respect you more or she'll respect you less. Don't know why that was so hard for me to just say it, but there you go. So a lot of these things, they aren't always intentional, but, you know, it comes up. And that's also just in life too, like interacting with other people, like two men having a conversation together or interacting together. They're going to go, these things are going to come up as well. Maybe not in the same way, and it might not be at the same level. Like it's not as delicate to me. Like a relationship that you're with somebody, especially in the earlier stages, you need to establish these boundaries and draw a line in the sand somewhere and just say like, hey, this is how I like to be treated. This isn't tolerated, and certain things like that. Like if there's something that annoys you, and you should learn these things early on, you know, or that's why I suggest dating for a long period of time, because then you learn, you know, how is this person going to treat me in the long term? Like, are they going to, you know, be mean to me and like pick on me and hit me and stuff like that? Like, I don't like that. I can handle it. I can tolerate that. But if a girl is physical with me all the time, like if she's like punching me in the arm or something like that, like that's something I don't like. And I'm not going to stand for that, because I don't feel like I should hit her back. Like, even though she's hitting me, I'm not going to just full on hit her, or like even as hard as she hits me or whatever it is. That's, you know, just one example. But certain things you just shouldn't tolerate with a woman, and especially if it's someone you're with, you know, it shouldn't get to that point. Like if it's something that is continuing on and you've been together for a long time and it's something that really irritates you, I don't think you should be together at all, because you should be with somebody that just loves you all the time. You should be at peace with this person. There should be no conflict. Like I wouldn't ever dream of harming my significant other. Like once I find that one person, you know, once I find my significant other, I would never want to intentionally harm them or anything like that. Like maybe unintentionally, like through words or whatnot, that happens, but never intentionally trying to harm somebody physically or emotionally, put it that way. So if somebody's doing that to me, that's only going to bring out that aggression. And so I don't want to be with somebody like that. Or if you feel like this is somebody that's worth it, and you feel like, okay, this is a girl that I really want to continue to pursue. She does these certain things, or like early on, and you have to catch it early on. So this is your warning now. Be aware. If there's something that you don't like, catch her immediately. You gotta snap, and you gotta let her know what's going on. You gotta tell her what's up. You know, my friend is really good at this. He likes to tell stories and he likes to talk, and he's kind of like the opposite of me. Like he's way more aggressive than I am. You know, he's so much like me, but also he's kind of like the opposite of me. And he's one of my best friends, and he's in a relationship, and they're, you know, both of them are really good friends of mine. So he will say these things to her, and he'll just kind of like, every so often, like if she walks away from him, he'll be like, hey, don't walk away from me, or say something. And I think he's really good at that, and just kind of checking her back too, just saying, hey, don't walk away from me when I'm talking to you. Like, I'm talking to you right now. Why are you ignoring me? I said this to you. You didn't even say anything. You walked away. You know, that's one thing. Or, you know, there's just sometimes that he's really good at that. I really admire that about him. And maybe sometimes to the extreme, like, I wouldn't always say that, like, be as vocal about it. Like, maybe I'd just be like, yo, like, why are you doing this? Like, if a girl is, like, punching me in the arm, maybe she doesn't realize that. Maybe that's just something that she does with people that she likes. And, you know, I'm just not aware of that. I'd just say, like, hey, can you just cut it out with the punch me in the arm thing? Because I really don't like it. It makes me feel aggressive, and I don't want to be aggressive towards you unless it's, like, you know, in the bedroom. And I guess it could get to that point, but just, like, you know, don't keep punching me, because that's going to, you know, build up that inside me. Like, I'm going to want to fight back, you know, like it's, you know, something that I got to control, you know, self-control. And so anyway, I digress. Just certain things that you need to check a girl on. Like there was one girl you know, maybe it was a couple months ago that we kind of ended things. We had been seeing each other for a while, like near a year. And we kind of decided that if we weren't going to be more serious, like she wanted something serious. I like where things were at. I didn't want to continue to pursue anything. And so I was like, you know what? I think it's best for us. I'm going to, free you, to be so kind to me. But free her just to go date. And I was like, if you want to continue hanging out, I'm cool with that. But I just want to say, like, go date and do other things. Like, this isn't going anywhere that you want it to, like, after we talked. And it was kind of my fault that it got to that point, because I understood that a little bit from the beginning. But then she kept saying, I'm getting way off topic here. I'm going to finish this thought though. She kept saying, I'm cool with it. Just take your time. Like, I'm cool with what we're doing. I'm fine with that. It's cool. And I was like, okay, that's cool with me. Like, let's just keep it at this speed. Like, I like this. But then the more I understood, I was like, okay, yeah, she needs to go out there and date. I'm not what she wants. I'm not what she requires. And also there's things that I was a little bit hung up on too that weren't making me 100% in on it. So I was a little bit, against pursuing her any further. So anyway, I digress. The reason I bring her up, very early when we started dating, like maybe 2 or 3 dates into seeing each other, we agreed to meet at a bar. We set a date, and it's a bar downtown Sioux Falls. And I said, okay, so how's this time sound? We're agreeing to meet up. And I hadn't even left yet. Like, I was still at home, and she texted me. She's like, hey, I'm going to be another half hour. And I was like, yo, another half hour. Like, I was going to get ready to, I was in town. I didn't go to the bar yet. I was still doing stuff. I was hanging out with friends. We're chilling. And then she texted me that. And so I could have easily gone there and been there at the time that we were agreeing on. So I would have been there on time. She texts me. She says, I'm going to be another half hour after, 7 o'clock or whatever. And I was like, yo, this is ridiculous. I said, you know what? Just don't bother coming. The date's off, because, that's like a whole half hour. And I was getting ready to leave too. Like, I told my friends, and I was like, well, the date's off, so I guess we get to hang out longer. And so that wasn't bad for me. But had I, just gone to the bar and waited for a half hour, then that would have just shown her that I was willing to wait on her. I'm not willing to do that. I was doing something with my friends, and we continued to hang out and do other stuff. Like, I'm not going to, stop what I'm doing to go wait at the bar for you for a half hour and then, meet there. I was just like, you know what, if it's going to be like that, just don't bother. And then she kept bringing that up too. Like, we continued to see each other after that, because she was sincere and apologetic after I checked her like that. And she kept bringing it up. Like, we would get drunk, and then she'd say, you know what, it really, I never thought about it. Like, when you did that to me and you told me, the date was off and all that, and I felt so bad, and no one's ever made me feel that way before. And I was just like, yo, that was a win for me. That was a good move on my part, just saying, you know what, date's off. Because I was literally so close to the bar, it would have been, 5-10 minute drive for me. And so I wasn't that far. I was like ready to go, ready to meet her up, for this date. And then she says, oh, I'm going to be a whole nother half hour. I was like, we agreed, and now you're saying this now. Like, this is when we're about to meet each other. And she respected that about me. And she kept saying, she was like very humbled by it. And I was just like, wow. She's like, I've never thought about other people's time like that before. And, I hope that made her better for the next guy. Like, especially for me. She knows that for me. And we never ended things on a bad note. So I think now, like, she has that respect. And that wasn't anything fake either. Like, I didn't do that just because, some guy on YouTube said so, whatever. I've seen those videos. I've seen a lot of these videos, but it's because my time is valuable, and I wasn't going to drop what I'm doing just to, wait on her, like, I'm not waiting on you. And she's like, well, you could have a drink at the bar. You can just go there and have a drink and wait for me. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit there by myself, waste money on buying myself a drink, all this other stuff, like, da-da-da-da-da. I didn't get wordy with it. I was just like, yo, that's fine. Maybe another time. That's cool. You know, I'll see you around. We'll talk later. And then she hit me up and she kept like, she was like super apologetic. And then I think she asked me out after that. She was like, fine, I'll take you out to make up for that. I'll take you out. I'm going to buy you dinner. I'll buy you a drink. And I was like, you know what? I feel like this could work. So like we continued, and it was like, it was a good thing for a long time. And we had so much in common that I felt like it was worth pursuing. But that was one thing early on that I think she understood. It was like, you know, I need to respect Levi more than just, oh, some guy that we're just doing a thing off on the side with, or like whatever it is. Like, and that's at least what I hope she got out of that, because that's how I want other people to see me. Like, not in an insincere way either. Like I said earlier, I want this to be, you know, just being my best self. Like, I want to be respected. I want people to understand that my time is valuable, especially to me. You know, like, if I feel disrespected, I don't want you to think, you know, not to take it any other way. Like, I want you to understand I feel disrespected, and I hope you all feel the same. Like, you should understand that you're valuable. Your time is valuable. Your ego is valuable. You know, if somebody's beating at you, or like if they call you names, or if they say negative things about you, put you down, that's, you know, tearing away at you, and that's at your ego. You need to have somebody that builds you up and says positive things and says affirmations and says like that they love you. They're like, you know what, you're doing great. You know what, you're killing it out there. Different things like that. Or you also reciprocate that. That's how you show love too. You tell your significant other, you just say, hey, you know what, I know you're out there grinding away. You're doing your thing. You know, being a mom. You know, you're out here getting your money. You're out here, you know, getting your education. You're out here trying to be the best self. You're out here in the gym, you know, all these other things, like whatever it is, start affirming people. That's a side note here. As well as check your girl, also affirm your girl. That's a little side note. And also, you know, this is what really made me think about this, about my friends. The one that, you know, he checks his girl, he's really good about that. But then sometimes I think because he's so emotional and like he gets angry real quick, especially from things from her, but then I understand it's because he feels disrespected. But then he doesn't, I don't think, like maybe he wasn't aware that he just needs to tell her, or maybe early on, like she gets very violent with him. You know, like she'll be grabbing his hair and yanking it so that he's like, you know, like she'll be violent with him. And he doesn't really get violent with her. Like, he'll pick her up and, like, throw her on the bed, or, like, you know, do something, like, you know, just to kind of show her, like, you know, I'm the man. But then she'll do these things, like, you know, pulling his hair. And I would hate that. Like, if it's not in, like, a sexy way, then I don't want my hair touched at all. Like, don't be pulling my hair trying to, you know, fight me or whatever it is. You know, that's just mean. So, anyway, we were chilling over at their place, and we had a couple other people come over. We were just having a little kickback, and we were doing shots of like Walmart brand Malibu. And one of the girls there was in the bathroom for a real long time, and so then her boyfriend goes and is like checking on her, and we're all just kind of like standing around like, oh, what's going on, you know, like, is this chick, you know, all right? She's been in the bathroom for a long time, and I guess, you know, she had thrown up. And they had less drinks than we had. Like, we'd been, like, pre-gaming that whole time. We've been smoking. We've been drinking. I digress. I got a job. So, she puked all over their toilet. And my buddy, he cleaned it up. And so he's in there with all the paper towels and stuff. He's got the disinfectant spray. He's cleaning off the toilet. And it was nasty because it was just like in the oddest of places, like behind the toilet, you know, there's like nothing on the front of it, but like behind the toilet somehow. Just like, it was disgusting. Like whatever it was that she had peeped up, like Takis or hot Cheetos, whatever it was, it was gross. So, we're all laughing, like we've had a couple drinks, we're all laughing, and she's like, you know, hitting me in the shoulder like this, like laughing, and like hitting me in the shoulder, and then she goes like this and pushes him, and he's staying by the toilet and falls into the bathtub. And you have a curtain, so like it kind of cushioned his fall, but he fell into the bathtub, and you know, he was there cleaning up the toilet, and so I can see why he felt disrespected. But then she left, like, I can't remember what he said, like immediately what he said, but then he was just kind of in there murmuring to himself, like, loud enough because I could tell he wanted her to hear it. And I was like, oh, I'm about to dip. So I'm in the kitchen putting my shoes on, and he was still in the bathroom, like, finished cleaning out the toilet. He comes out and he's like, oh, you're leaving? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to be in the middle of this as you guys are fighting. So I was about to leave, and he's like, no, like, it's okay, you can stay, like, it's all right. And then, you know, like, the night went well. We ended up on a good note, and I think it went well. But, you know, that was something that just really got me thinking about, like, you know, he was upset, but he didn't have the, like, maybe he was just too upset in the moment to really say what he, you know, was feeling, or the emotional maturity, maybe, because he's younger than me. He's pretty young, and he's like my little brother. So I want to be like the older brother, like kind of his mentor in some ways. So I tried to kind of speak into his life, you know, give him some life advice about that situation, because he's already so good about checking his girl. And I'm like, I'm even learning from him, just like little things, you know, like she walks by and he just kind of like tapping her, just like, hey. And then I don't know, just like anything that's like do something stupid, and it's still kind of in a way kind of checking her. And I think if more guys did that, then I think we'd be in a better place. And so, yeah, I hope you got something from this video. I appreciate it if you guys made it to the end here. I'm gonna call it. So thank you guys for checking out the video. Love yourself before anybody else, and check your girl. All right, catch you guys in the next video.